Attention, Patriots Nation, get ready, because what's happening behind the scenes in Foxborough is no joke. Things are absolutely insane, on fire, and trust me, I'm not exaggerating. You can feel it in the air. The winds of change are blowing harder than ever. You know that feeling, when something huge is about to happen? Yeah, that's exactly the vibe right now at Gillette Stadium. The machine is in motion, and every single move happening behind closed doors could change the future of our franchise. Our war architect, the man in charge, Elliot Wolf, is making moves. Big moves. He's shifting pieces, adjusting the roster, negotiating, building a master plan to turn the Patriots into an absolute winning machine. But hold on, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. While Wolf is full throttle towards building something great, there are bombs ready to explode in this roster. Tough decisions, intense negotiations, and strategic moves that could shake not just Foxborough, but the entire NFL. And listen, what I'm about to tell you, you won't find on any website, blog, or social media. This is inside information, straight from the heart of the Patriots, exclusively for you, the fans who bleed red, white, and blue. So before we dive in, do me a favor, smash that like button if you trust that Wolf is on the right path to hang another championship banner at our sacred temple, Gillette Stadium. And if you, just like me, believe that this is Pat's Nation and we're going to the Super Bowl, drop it in the comments right now. This is Pat's. We're going to the Super Bowl. Because what I found out in the last few hours, man, it's absolutely mind-blowing. So buckle up, turn the volume all the way up, because now, you're about to hear everything. Something is brewing behind the scenes that could completely shake the foundation of the New England Patriots defense. Imagine this, one single move that could instantly turn our front seven into one of the most feared units in the entire NFL. A move that would not only rattle the AFC East but could send shockwaves through the entire league. We're talking about the potential trade for one of the most dominant edge rushers in the game today, Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, you heard that right. And this isn't just wild speculation. This is real. This is heating up fast. NFL Network's Kevin Patra didn't just casually throw this idea out there. He listed the Patriots as a legitimate potential trade destination for Trey Hendrickson. Let that sink in. Hendrickson, the absolute backbone of the Cincinnati Bengals defense. If you ask most NFL fans to name a single defensive player from Cincinnati, Hendrickson is probably the only name that comes to mind. This guy is a relentless quarterback hunting machine. His ability to collapse the pocket, force errors, and make game-changing plays is exactly what this Patriots defense is missing. But here's where things get really interesting. Hendrickson is reportedly disgruntled. He wants a new contract, a massive one. The Bengals? Well, if there's one thing we all know about the Cincinnati front office, it's that they're notoriously cheap. This is the same franchise that had to change the name of their stadium to Paycor Stadium just to afford Joe Burrow's contract. This is the same ownership that dragged its feet through the contract sagas of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And now here we are, Trey Hendrickson wants elite edge rusher money, and the Bengals are hesitating. Let's break down the timeline. On March 6th, Trey Hendrickson was officially allowed to seek a trade. From that point until May, radio silence. No communication between him and the Bengals. None. Then, frustrated, Hendrickson publicly vents to reporters about his contract situation, making it clear he expects to be one of the highest paid edge rushers in the league. Fast forward to June 10th, Hendrickson skips mandatory minicamp. The tension is real. The writing is on the wall. And here's where New England comes in. The Patriots are sitting on a mountain of cap space. While a lot of moves have been made this offseason to bolster the defense, bringing in guys like Milton Williams, Harold Landry, and relying on key pieces like Christian Barmore, Anthony Jennings, and even banking on a breakout year from Keion White, there's still a glaring need. A true, dominant, game-wrecking edge rusher. Hendrickson fits that mold perfectly. Look, Anthony Jennings is great against the run, but he isn't the kind of guy that's going to give you double-digit sacks. Clavon Chaisson? Solid depth, but not that top-tier guy. Keion White has all the tools to explode this year, but banking everything on his breakout without a proven veteran is risky. Now picture this defense with Trey Hendrickson added to the mix. The ceiling doesn't just rise, it explodes. Let's talk numbers because this part is mind-blowing. Hendrickson has been the very definition of durability and consistency. No injury history to worry about. He's played 17, 15, and 16 games over the past 4 seasons. Back-to-back seasons with 17.5 sacks. Are you kidding me? For context, the Patriots were dead last in the league last season with only 28 sacks total. Hendrickson alone accounted for over half of that number on his own. One man could single-handedly transform the Patriots' pass rush from a weakness into a lethal strength. But here's the golden question: what would it cost? Surprisingly, maybe not as much as you think. Hendrickson wants a new deal. If the Bengals drag this out and he holds out into the season, they risk losing him for absolutely nothing. The pressure is on them. They either get something now or watch him walk away down the line. Meanwhile, the Patriots have the flexibility to make this work financially. Sitting on roughly $60 million in cap space, New England is one of the few teams that can afford to hand Hendrickson a deal in the range of $25 to $30 million per year. Exactly the kind of contract he's chasing. Head coach Mike Vrabel's recent comments at minicamp add more fuel to the fire. When asked about potential trades, Vrabel said, "I think that we have to always look at our options. We should go with every position on the roster. We want to make the roster competitive and try to find anyone or everyone that can help us from now until the end of the season." That doesn't sound like a coach who's sitting back content with the current roster. That sounds like a coach who's ready to be aggressive, who's hunting for difference makers. And make no mistake, this wouldn't be the first time Vrabel and Elliott Wolf swung for the fences. They already went after Rashad Bateman earlier this offseason, and now the focus could very well shift to the defensive side. The trust between Vrabel and Wolf is strong, and Wolf has the green light to go get the pieces needed to build a contender. Now, let's be fair. There are signs that this might not happen. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler recently reported that the Bengals and Hendrickson have resumed contract talks. It's the first positive movement in months after a brutal stalemate. But even then, the big question remains, can Cincinnati actually afford to pay him? Or, more importantly, are they even willing to? Think about it. The Bengals already have Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase on contracts totaling over $100 million each. Adding Hendrickson to that payroll would mean locking up nearly $400 million between four players. Is that even sustainable? Is that smart roster management? Or is it the kind of cap mismanagement that forces a franchise to get the rest of its roster? And just to make things even more chaotic, the Bengals are also locked in a completely separate contract dispute with first-round pick Shamar Stewart. They tried inserting language into his contract that's never been seen before in the NFL. It's a mess. A total mess. The front office in Cincinnati is walking a financial tightrope with no safety net in sight. This is the kind of opportunity that franchises like the Patriots, smart, strategic, and aggressive, are built to capitalize on. The Bengals' dysfunction could become New England's gain. So the question now falls to you, Patriots Nation. Should the Patriots pull the trigger and bring Trey Hendrickson to Foxborough? Is he the missing piece that turns this defense into an elite unit and puts us back in the fight for the AFC East crown? Or is the price tag, whether in draft capital, money, or both, just too high to justify? I want to hear from you. Jump down to the comments and let me know. Type yes if you think Hendrickson needs to be a Patriot by the start of the season, or no if you think we should hold the line and trust the pieces we already have. The floor is yours, Patriots Nation. Let's discuss, because here's the reality. This isn't just about Trey Hendrickson. This is about a mindset. This is about whether the New England Patriots are truly ready to go all in on building a championship-caliber defense during the crucial window where Jerod Mayo is still on his rookie contract. You only get so many shots at building a complete roster before that rookie QB money dries up and you have to start sacrificing depth and flexibility elsewhere. That's the formula. We've seen it work for teams like the